Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
Wear your mask, take your pills. Now a whole generation's mentally ill. Man, Fauci. But COVID's near, it's coming to town. We gotta act quick, shut our borders down. Joe Biden does, the media embraces. Big Doc does it, and they call them racist.
Yeah, we the people. Boy, that irreverent, free-spirited rock and roll America, it still exists, but they call it Canada now. The Freedom Convoy that descended on Ottawa over the weekend into yesterday. And one of the speeches over the weekend that we discussed a bit yesterday with our friend Jerry Agar from Toronto was Ezra Levant's talk to the assembled crowd, the publisher of Rebel News. And I love this line that he had. It should be emblazoned upon people's minds when they think about the media.
Yep.
He said, what do we do about the media? We become the media. We become the media. Exactly. And so
resident journalists, that's what you should do.
With the mischaracterization of that crowd, the demagoguery of against those assembled in Ottawa by that grade school drama teacher they made the prime minister up there, there are people in the crowd, people in attendance, that are becoming the media, like this gentleman who interviewed an Ottawa police officer to get the police officer's take on the crowd and how it was behaving.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm down here with a police officer in Ottawa. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
How's it been down here?
Nothing but good. People are super good. The truckers have been having a good time. They've been getting their point across. And you know what? It's a beautiful city that we're in, and they can't ignore all of this, right?
Absolutely. No, thank you very much.
Ooh,
Wow.
They can't ignore it. Who's he
Can't
talking
ignore that
to?
small fringe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not even the biggest hero out of Canada recently, those truckers and those that are assembling to petition for their rights in Ottawa. I don't know if this woman's been identified yet, but this senior citizen woman at a grocery store in British Columbia, so the story goes, some guy with a ski mask on is about to walk out of the grocery store with a full shopping cart of stuff that he didn't pay for. And Grandma ain't having it.
Really?
You gonna pay for that? Huh? You gonna pay for that?
Yeah.
When?
Huh?
You gonna pay for it?
Excuse me. Stand up again. Stop. Goddamn thing.
Come on, bud.
Stop.
Come on.
Get out.
Come on.
Get out. Get out.
Take your and go. Off.
You just jack up the price for everybody else because of you. It's about time they got caught.
Is she hitting him with a grocery cart?
Grandma grabbed the top of his ski mask and ripped it off his head. Then he's still trying to pull the cart out. She grabs the cart. She's pulling it back in to the store. And so he grabs his backpack that was in the cart and then just scampers off.
Oh, that is awesome. When grandma's attack.
I love it. I
Good
love
for
it.
her.
All right. It's the newfound respect for the strange brew types up there in the Great White North. For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by Meghan Murphy. She is a Canadian writer and journalist, founder of Feminist Current, a radical feminist blog and podcast. Meghan Murphy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So how about the Freedom Convoy, both the truckers and those who've just ventured up or over to Ottawa to meet those truckers? They're characterized as hateful people spewing intolerant rhetoric by the prime minister of the country, but that doesn't seem to square with what we're seeing on the ground.
No, not at all. I mean, I find the truckers and all their supporters so inspiring. I am relieved to feel proud to be Canadian for once in my life. I kind of had given up on Canada a little bit, to be honest, after the past 2 years of seeing so little pushback against the restrictions and mandates. And I'm so proud of the truckers, and I've been following the footage and what's been going on in Ottawa and across the country in terms of supporters, and it's been nothing but peaceful, and everyone is full of joy and love, and they're trying to take care of one another and take care of the city and ensure that there's no vandalism or anything like that going on. And
if anybody gets out of line, you got that grandma from British Columbia to keep them in line.
Apparently so.
But it's so
it's been really disappointing to hear what Trudeau and people like him, Canadian progressives, I suppose you could call them, have been saying about the truckers, in terms of calling them, racist and extremists, and trying so very hard to paint them as dangerous, because it's simply not the case.
Well, at one point in time, were you a Trudeau supporter?
No, even worse. I was a socialist. I mean, I've never voted for Trudeau. I was an NDP voter my whole life, which is Canada's left-wing party, even further left than Trudeau. In the past 2 federal elections, in the last federal election, I voted for the People's Party of Canada, which is essentially our version of the Libertarian Party, which was almost a throwaway vote. In the election prior, I didn't vote at all because I felt there was no one to represent me in Canada. But certainly I was a leftist for my whole life until maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when I determined that the left not only didn't represent my interests, but didn't represent the interests of the working class. I mean, the irony of the response from the left in Canada, from progressives in Canada, is that they seem completely out of touch with what real, regular working people in Canada want and care about. This is a class of people who have the privilege, essentially, to sit at home, to work online, to stay home, to hide from life. They're financially secure. These mandates aren't impacting them financially, and they don't seem to have any concern for the massive impact on everyone else. And, the slander and smears that have been levied at the truckers and their supporters kind of signifies to me that the progressives really don't like or respect the working class anymore. There seems to be a lot of hatred from what I'm seeing online from, my progressive friends in Vancouver and in Canada in general. There seems to be a lot of, really hateful rhetoric aimed at the truckers that seems sort of condescending, that I would interpret to mean that, these people aren't, smart enough or, educated enough. They're not politically savvy enough to be trusted, to take seriously, et cetera, et cetera. This is what the urban elites have been doing in the U.S. too,
right,
in terms of how they've treated the working class and people, for example, who don't support Democrats.
It's very upsetting when the rabble gets out of line.
Exactly. They're all so angry that they can't control the narrative, and they're trying. I think they're so used to being able to control the narrative and to throw out accusations like white supremacists based on absolutely nothing. These people are not white supremacists. But they're so comfortable with this power that they've had over mainstream media, over social media, their political power, and I think it's making them really angry and upset that the people have taken this into their own hands and they can't stop them.
Well, what about PM, Trudeau? He's in hiding still, and now he is COVID. Are you buying that?
I mean, I don't know, but I think it's pathetic that he apparently ran away, as far as I understand. I mean, I can't confirm this for sure, but this is what I've understood, is that he ran away to Tofino in BC. And I mean, he can't hide forever, and he's lost so much respect in all of this, you know, in the past 2 years. I mean, I was extremely disappointed that he won the election again this time around after Canadians have seen how he had dealt with this pandemic and was imposing more and more mandates and restrictions that were completely illogical and nonsensical. But, you know, to be honest, there was really no political party in Canada that was offering a good alternative, except for, from my perspective, the People's Party of Canada, and they're not a real viable alternative. They're just such a small party, they would never win an election. But even our Conservatives, you know, didn't oppose the mandates and stand up for Canadians' rights and freedom. So,
it's tough to overcome good hair, too. You know, Trudeau's got that good hair. And that's, yeah, you know, that's a lot to overcome. Yeah. Meghan Murphy, Canadian writer and journalist, founder of Feminist Current, a radical feminist blog and podcast. Meghan, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for covering this.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with British accents. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, take it from a Brit.